Let's shake. Let's shake. Let's shake.
Pillow like a
Let's shake.
let's shake.
Let's
We do it. Let's shake.
Let's shake. Let's shake.
Do a pillow like a
Let's shake.
Let's
shake.
Ja Rule threw out so fast. This way he was sick. Got him out of here.
Focus Connect back in the building. And Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda ran into Ja Rule in first class on the plane. They had 2 seats sitting directly behind Ja Rule. And we know this beef go back for over 20 years between 50 and Ja Rule. Way back to where Ja Rule was attached with Supreme, was attached with Murda Inc. And 50 Cent, as we know, he had some issues with both of those crews back in the day. Even Irv Gotti's brother got on the interview and spoke on the fact that they was trying to block 50 Cent's success. So I can understand why 50 Cent looking at these guys like it's beef for life. Because if their plan would have followed through, then we wouldn't even know who 50 Cent is as of today. So it's a long history with this situation. But we gotta keep in mind that at this point, these are 50-year-old grown men. These guys are to the age of being grandfathers. So when I look at the example that these guys are setting, this is not a good blueprint to follow for the next generation. See, we be wondering why the YNs are the way they are. We be wondering why they don't have respect for nothing. Why they don't have respect for the OGs. Because the OGs carrying themselves as if they are YN. I want to know what's the problem with us as black men having a problem with growing up. It don't mean you have to act old and be a grandpa, but it means you should draw the line and elevate past the way you thought when you were a teenager or when you were in your 20s, when you were in your 30s. Each decade, I feel like you should open up to a new level of elevation. So these guys are successful as far as money, but to me, they are not successful as far as mentality go, as far as morals go. I don't see a success there. I see a failure in this aspect. Because 50 Cent and Ja Rule both spoke on the fact that they were on a plane together. And both of them were able to coexist on their plane, didn't have no loud words, didn't disturb the peace of the other passengers. No one had to be removed from the plane, and they were able to coexist in that environment. And that's why I can see that 50 Cent plays on the internet, but 50 Cent is operating out of a high level of intelligence because he understands that he needs to be able to get on a plane to get back and forth to these different meetings, to do these different shows, and to be available for different business ventures. So them being able to go to the airport and not have any issues serves a big purpose in the elevation of his career. But when I see Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda looking like flunkies and their excuse is that they're doing this for 50, when 50 didn't even do this when he was faced with the same situation, it just let me know, yeah, we can get some good stories out of these guys and filling in gaps and giving us information of things that we didn't know back during this time in life. And it is good to know, good insight to have, and good knowledge to gain if you were around during that time and you wanted to know what actually went on, how these different beefs started, what went on when 50 Cent got stabbed, what went on when 50 Cent punched Ja Rule. Tony Yayo is good for those stories. But at the end of the day, when we looking at these older guys that a lot of people are looking up to, they are not acting their age. And we gotta look at it. The 50-year-old of today is not the same as the 50-year-old in the 80s or the 50-year-old in the 70s or the 50-year-old in the 90s. It's a totally different ball game. We all understand that. But it still should be some level of separation from an OG and a YN. Because whether you look at OG as original gangster or you look at it as old guy, you should still be conducting yourself with a level of maturity past the mindset of a teenager. Because now we understand the consequences. Now we understand that it's not worth being arrested. Now we understand that sitting there poking at a person and playing like a child on an airplane makes you look like a clown. And when I look at Ja Rule being by himself on that plane, and Tony Yayo saying there was other people even in that wasn't even in first class that was with them. Tony Yayo and them had other guys with them, and Ja Rule was by himself, and he stood his ground. At the end of the day, if Tony Yayo and Uncle Murda hadn't been behind Ja Rule antagonizing him and picking on the man, you knew he wasn't gonna take that throughout that whole flight. So the thing is, we gotta look in the mirror, man. We gotta stop justifying BS behavior. We have to elevate and grow as grown men, and we have to realize that the children are our future. We already don't get the music like that no more. These kids already are not getting those type of messages. But people understand from my generation and above, we did receive those messages. So why are we overlooking certain things that we have been taught? Because at this point, we are not a good example for the next generation to look up to, because we are showing just as much ignorance. We are just showing just as much of having no emotional intelligence as them. And we're not making logical decisions. See, we moving on our emotions. And then the fact that I saw a camera was out, that let me know these guys ain't moving like generals. Uncle Murda is the one that pulled out the phone and thought this was funny. Because now the OGs have turned into internet niggas. Now the OGs don't even realize and recognize that they're creating a trail that now you picking on this guy. When anything goes down, it's so easy now for the police to put a case together. It don't make no sense. We're making it easy for the police. I don't want to hear about nobody snitching, because every time you pull out a phone, you telling on yourself. You building a case against yourself. Because you better believe, the hip-hop police, the FBI, whoever you want to call them, they have all these different scenarios documented all the way down to that fight Ja Rule was in. Don't think they ain't still investigating whoever was a part of that fight, because they still looking at if anything happened to anybody, they gonna go over there and look at Ja Rule first. If one of those guys lose their life or some harm come at them, or if Ja Rule lose his life, they already got certain groups to look at to investigate. I understand that this new generation gonna pull their phones out, pull their cameras out in different scenarios. But when I'm seeing these guys that were saying they were street guys back in the 90s and they grew up in the 80s and they saw the real street life, now portraying the same mentality of a generation that they should be leading, I see a problem with that. I'm out.